Robert, it's great to have you on the program today. Why don't you start off by giving everyone a little bit of your background?
Good afternoon. Well, certainly was a very early part of my career. Subsequent to that, I went to graduate school, did some big corporate jobs, but became an entrepreneur in long time ago, 2004. So I got actually into the care space through basically operating and owning urgent care centers. So been doing this for about 20 years on the ground, boots on the ground, working with patients and doctors and everybody else that's involved in the care cycle.
And, obviously, we're really excited to be working with you. You just recently sponsored a study with the lab that we're kicking off, an IRB-approved study to better understand your platform from 3 different angles: patient, physician, and whatnot. So I think the idea would be to start off with just giving the audience a little bit of an idea of what HelixVM does and how you guys work within the ecosystem.
Okay. HelixVM is a marketplace platform that is looking to bring together referral sources, patients, and providers together to create as close as possible to an e-commerce transaction for the provisioning of medicine. So, the example would be, I'm sick, I need something, how quickly can I get it? And so our goal is to try to be able to do all of that as quickly as humanly possible, hopefully under 2 hours, from beginning to end. The model works really, really well in what they, moderate complexity to low complexity patients, who have, fairly limited needs. It's not for cancer care, for example. So, so the marketplace is something that we've been working on for a couple of years. And what underpins it, and which is extremely important, is the ability not just to bring in patient data, but also to organize that data using AI and using RPAs in order to put the information into the doctor's chart, essentially as if they were reading a finished chart, okay? And that's extremely important because in order for you to really be able to deliver care quickly, you have to be able to manufacture, not to solicit, manufacture, put together and assemble data for the physician so that way they can quickly move through a chart in order to give the patient care quickly.
Okay, so that makes so much sense. Why is there a need to bridge the data and the information gap in the healthcare industry? Where's that coming from? You've been at this now for almost 30 years. What's your perception there?
Well, just to give you an example for that is, we have an AI. We basically put together notes for physicians, in essence, for them to read. And one of the things they always come back with is sometimes there's way too much here. Okay. And so the issue isn't just gathering data for the physicians, it's also filtering that. What is it that they really need to do, or what is it they really need to know in order to address this specific concern? And so that's not just a mix of subjective data that you capture from the patient as they're working on the platform, but it's also third-party data sources that are validated to make sure that you're giving them a snapshot of prescription history, giving them a snapshot, of ICD codes from the past. So that way the physician can work very, very quickly to say, okay, I think I know what this patient wants. I understand what they're telling me, but I also have some objective data, because the reality is that you don't always get the best information from the patient. And sometimes the patient doesn't exactly tell you what they want, or they don't sort of lead you, provide the information as accurately as you want. So the ability to bring in subjective, objective into the model, into our software, be able to process it with AI, and then be able to put a note in front of the physician is really impactful. I mean, the hardest thing that we have once you do that, frankly, is still paring down the data and also getting the physician to actually read, because they're so accustomed to just doing that themselves with the patient. And what we're asking them is to just read it, take 60 seconds and read. Because if you read, it'll really, really speed up the amount of time, the applied time you spend with the patient.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And that patient experience is so important, and speeding up that time is so critical. How does HelixVM contribute to making healthcare more patient-centric on top of that?
Well, the patient centricity for us is really focused on the access question, which is how quickly can we get you care? And I think that that's very important. You see it in a lot of different aspects of medicine. Like you go into weight loss, you go into, folks who are basically their prescription's running low and they can't get in to see their physician. These individuals are looking for very fast access. They're looking for answers. Many times they already know the answer they want before they even show up in your office. And so the ability to still practice medicine without, having kind of a Burger King mentality of having your way is really important. And so that's what we're looking to basically do for that patient, is to provide that sort of as close to e-commerce type of experience where they can start and end in very short time windows, as opposed to start and end over, a week or two, right? Hey, I need to see the doctor, but I got to wait a week, and then I've got to wait, 2 days to get a prescription. Those types of delays are what we're trying to collapse and condense.
That's brilliant. And we've got a question coming in from the audience. Is this platform agnostic, and is this for non-acute, PCP, or other non-inpatient providers?
Okay, it is. We're agnostic. Where our approach is basically we will be an omni-channel input. So anybody who wants to even create a booking on our system, you can create it directly through a third party. We can pull it off the doctor's scheduler if they want, in order to convert that patient into basically a note for the doctor. And so from our perspective, we don't care. In terms of what we're focused on right now, it's really going to be moderate complexity with a mixture of episodic medicine as well as also chronic care. But I think once you get past the patient who's got 3-4 chronic care ICDs, we're probably, the analytical model and the software that we have is probably not where we would like to get care. In that case, I think you probably would move it into a more office-based environment where the physician really needs to poke and prod the patient and spend a little bit more time with them.
That makes a lot of sense. And so, again, great questions from the audience. And Angelique, thank you for submitting that. And any other questions, people, please do, just go onto the Q&A section or LinkedIn or whatever you can do, and let's get them in here. One of the other things that we were wondering when we were going through this is if you can talk a little bit more about the role of collaborative care and why HelixVM's approach is so important to that.
Okay, so the collaborative care question is not just about, it's about as much care as it is also service in our model. So for example, when we talk about our booking platform and our triage clearinghouse platform, what we're talking about here is a way by which if you are a patient walking into an office and there's a specific need that exists because there's an employer who wants something from you, there's a pharmacy who's looking to get basically maybe give you a prescription. They have different data requirements that you have to report back to them. Well, the ability to basically get those data requirements before the patient is being seen not only increases the probability that the provider can satisfy those data needs at the point of service, but it also speeds up the care. I think anybody who's worked in a medical practice understands the story of the patient coming in, and then 2 days later, they need 5 different things sent back to them because the pharmacy needs this, because the insurance company needs that. We're trying to basically put that all together on the upfront, because the ability to understand the data requirements the patient has when the order, in essence, is created is extremely important in efficiently addressing the data that you have to get, where it goes, and who has to sign off on it, which in this case, it's a physician at the end of the visit.
Okay, this is great. Again, very exciting. And for the audience, stay tuned for more updates on this amazing platform. If you guys are wondering what this is going to turn into, go ahead and Google covermymeds.com and check out how they got in the patient centricity mix and look at their entry point, look at their exit point, look at their management team, their technology platform. We're very excited about this, and we see this as a very similar type of platform that's coming our way. So again, Robert, thanks for joining us today, and looking forward to seeing you on future programs.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.